Welcome back, everyone. We're diving into a truly wild case today.
Definitely wild.
Edward Bates Soper, late 19th century American serial killer.
Yeah?
And get this, we've got a biography
Oh, wow.
and some original newspaper clippings to work with.
Oh, that's awesome.
Should be interesting.
Yeah, this case is,
Yeah.
it's fascinating to me.
Oh, okay.
You know how it kind of reveals those cracks in the justice system back then?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Just imagine, like, committing a crime and then
Yeah.
just vanishing by traveling to a different state.
Poof.
Yeah, exactly. So Soper's story,
Yeah.
it shows just how fragile justice was back then.
Totally. So let's rewind to 1895.
Okay.
Gruesome scene. A farmhouse in Archie, Missouri. A woman and her 2 children brutally murdered.
Oh, God.
And the killer,
Yeah.
husband and father, Edward Bates Soper.
Wow.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
This wasn't his first time breaking the law.
Oh, really?
Soper was born in Missouri in 1855, one of 8 kids.
Okay, a big family.
Yeah, and at 20 he was already stealing horses.
Yeah. Interesting.
Which I guess looking back is kind of a sign of what was to come.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, some early signs of that deceitfulness.
Yeah, but that's nothing compared to what happened next.
Oh, no. What did he do?
He killed his own father.
He killed his father.
Yeah, at 25, he lured his father to a literary society meeting
Oh, wow.
and shot him.
Gosh. What was the motive?
Well, some people think it was about money. You know, Soper was known to be in debt,
Right.
but the real reason,
Yeah.
total mystery.
Wow. So we got away with murder.
Well,
Okay.
it gets even crazier.
Right.
Another man, Thomas Mabe,
Right.
was wrongly convicted of the murder
Oh, my God.
based on circumstantial evidence.
How is that possible?
Well, that's the justice system back then, right?
Right.
Soper, meanwhile, served just 2 years for the horse theft.
Wow. A slap on the wrist.
Exactly.
Compared to.
What he actually did.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he gets released, right?
Right.
Returns to Clay County, marries Ardella Hunt, a widow with 2 kids. Settles down.
So a fresh start.
You'd think, right?
Yeah.
Not quite
Oh.
this seemingly peaceful life, you know.
Right.
There was something else going on under the surface.
Okay.
At first, their marriage seemed happy enough.
Uh-huh.
But then things got tense when Ardella joined a Christian church,
Oh.
which Soper was really against.
Really?
Yeah, he opposed it vehemently.
Huh. Interesting.
And that's when the murders happened in Archie.
Oh, wow.
He used an axe,
Oh, God.
killed his wife and her 2 young children.
Just awful.
The brutality of it is just...
It's hard to fathom.
I know, and here's the thing.
Yeah.
He tried to cover it up.
You did.
Oh, yeah, it was calculated.
Wow.
He left letters saying he killed them out of mercy
Mercy.
because he couldn't provide for them.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, come on.
Talk about manipulation.
Right.
Yeah.
And it gets worse.
What else did he do?
He told everyone he was moving away to expose some illegal saloon,
Oh, wow.
which was a total lie, designed to delay the discovery of the bodies.
So he could get a head start.
Exactly.
Clever, but so sinister.
And it worked.
Really?
3 years later, a body was found in the Missouri River,
Okay.
and they thought it was Soper,
They identified him.
based on what they could see.
Wow. So no DNA testing back then
Nope.
really shows how unreliable forensics was.
Right. Wow. So they thought he was dead, case closed.
But he wasn't dead, was he?
Nope. Soper was very much alive.
Oh, wow.
He'd slipped through the cracks of the system
Unbelievable.
and was already building a new life in Oregon
Wow.
under a new name,
What was it?
R.S. Sandy Soper.
Sandy.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird to think,
Yeah.
like, wouldn't people notice a grown man suddenly using a nickname like that?
You'd think right.
Yeah.
But remember back then,
Yeah.
traveling salesmen were everywhere.
Oh, it's true.
So it's likely Soper used that, you know,
yeah.
blend and exploit people's trust.
Right.
He even remarried to Catherine Brownlee, and they had a son named Gillis.
Wow. So he really was starting over.
It seemed like he might actually escape his past.
But you can't outrun your demons forever, can you?
Nope, you can't. And Soper's past.
Yeah.
About to catch up with him big time.
Oh, boy. This is getting good.
But that's a story for part 2.
Okay, can't wait.
So Soper's living this new life in Oregon.
Yeah.
Married a kid, calls himself Sandy.
Right.
I just can't believe he could pull this off after everything he'd done.
I think it says a lot about his ability to just shut things out, you know,
What do you mean?
like compartmentalize.
Oh, okay.
Detach from reality.
Right.
But we got to remember, things were different back then.
Yeah.
People were more trusting.
Mm-hmm.
Information moved slower.
Yeah.
You could really disappear.
Yeah.
reinvent yourself.
Okay, but how long could he really keep that up?
Yeah, good question.
I mean, you can't erase your past completely.
True. And that's where things start to fall apart.
Okay.
Soper makes a mistake.
Oh, what happened?
He accidentally tells Catherine his real name.
Wow.
Just slips out.
I can't imagine
Yeah.
what she must have felt like.
Total shock.
1 minute you're living a normal life, and the next,
Yeah.
your husband's a fugitive.
And a murderer.
Yeah. Potentially dangerous.
Did she go to the police?
We don't know how she reacted right away,
Okay.
but we do know that Soper panicked.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
His perfect little world was crumbling.
Right.
And it gets worse.
Oh, no, what now?
His past wasn't the only thing catching up to him.
What else happened?
2 years after settling in Oregon, Soper does the unthinkable.
Right.
He drowns his 2-year-old son.
He drowned his own son.
Yeah, in the Willamette River.
That's just horrific.
I know, right?
Why?
It's a question that haunts this case.
I bet.
What could drive a person to kill their own child?
Yeah, was it planned?
Or was he just losing it?
Like panicking?
Maybe his identity was about to be exposed.
So he took drastic measures.
It's all speculation. We just don't know.
Yeah.
But here's what we do know.
Okay.
After the drowning,
Yeah.
he sends Catherine a letter.
Another letter.
Uh-huh.
What did it say this time?
He tells her the child is well cared for.
Oh, my God.
Urges her not to worry.
That is so messed up.
I know the manipulation.
Yeah.
Chilling.
So cold.
Like, he's trying to ease her worries.
Right.
While covering his tracks.
And it's just, wow.
And then
Yeah.
Soper disappears again. Of course he does. This time calls himself Homer Lee.
Okay.
Works as a farmhand in Ashland, Oregon.
So he's on the run again.
Yep, looking over his shoulder.
Can't imagine living like that.
But his luck's about to run out.
How so?
Pure chance.
Early.
Kansas City police officer named Sam E. Lowe,
Okay.
reading a newspaper article
Okay.
about the murder in Oregon,
Uh-huh.
and he sees the name Soper.
Wow, what are the odds?
I know, right?
Crazy.
Lowe had worked on the Missouri case,
Oh,
so he
that's
knew
wow.
Soper was still alive.
So what did he do?
Contacts his brother,
Okay.
who is a prosecutor,
Okay.
and they make a plan.
To catch him?
Brings Soper to justice.
That's amazing.
Lowe goes to Oregon,
Yeah.
tracks Soper down to that farm in Ashland,
Wow.
arrests him.
Talk about a moment.
But-
Rest is served.
But the story's not over.
Yeah.
During extradition, Soper confesses
He admitted to everything.
to the murders of his wife and her 2 kids.
What about his father?
Initially, he denied it,
Oh, wow.
but Officer Lowe said
Okay.
Soper had these nightmares about drowning his son.
Oh, God.
He'd wake up screaming, "He can't swim! I can't swim, poor little fellow!"
That's so sad.
Like, even he couldn't escape it completely.
Wow.
So did he stand trial for all the murders?
Well, he was extradited to Missouri
Okay.
and put on trial for Ardella's murder.
Okay, his first wife.
Yeah. Guilty, sentenced to death.
Wow.
Soper appealed to the Supreme Court,
Mhm.
but they upheld the sentence.
So it's over.
Yeah, March 30th, 1899.
Okay.
Soper was hanged in Harrisonville, Missouri.
Wow, what a story.
It is right.
You know, it's amazing what we can learn from a case like this.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean, law enforcement back then compared to now.
Totally different.
Soper's story really highlights that.
Right.
Do you think someone could get away with all that today?
It's hard to imagine, right?
Vanishing new identity.
Yeah, I mean, with all the technology we have now.
Right.
DNA databases,
Yeah.
facial recognition, instant communication.
You leave a trail everywhere.
Exactly. It'd be almost impossible to disappear completely.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Creating a fake identity today.
Oh, man.
Social media alone would be a nightmare. But
Okay.
back then, information traveled so slowly,
Uh-huh.
records were incomplete.
Makes you wonder,
Yeah.
how many other cases from back then are unsolved because of that?
That's a scary thought.
For sure.
I mean, we've come a long way with forensics and investigations.
Yes, Lou.
But Soper's case, it's a reminder that evil can be anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
He seems so ordinary,
Right.
but capable of such awful things.
It makes you question who you can trust.
Yeah, like anyone could have that darkness inside.
Exactly.
What do you think is the most important thing we can take away from this case?
I think it shows that history isn't just dates and facts.
Right.
It's about people, their choices, and
Mhm.
how those choices affect others.
Soper's story.
Yeah,
It's disturbing, for sure.
definitely.
But it teaches us about human nature and how law enforcement has changed and how important justice is.
I agree.
It also reminds us to be aware.
Yeah.
Question things, don't take our safety for granted.
It's easy to think it can't happen here.
Right.
But Soper proves that it can happen anywhere.
And we can't forget the victims.
Right.
The fear, the grief, the feeling of being unsafe.
It affects entire communities.
Yeah, for generations even.
It's important to remember that.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yep.
I encourage everyone to learn more about Soper if you're interested.
Yeah, there's so much more to explore.
Check out historical newspapers, see how his crimes affected the places he lived.
Exactly.
And think about what this case means to you.
Yeah, justice, morality, the human experience.
It's a lot to consider.
It really is.
Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Until next time.